You know, I always tell myself that I need to film in the middle of the day because I always film at like 10 o'clock at night and I'm always tired and delusional, but guess what I'm doing right now? Filming at 10 o'clock at night. In fact, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I just need to accept the fact that I work best when the sun's not out. Well, hi guys, how are you? Today, I'm going to be doing a slightly controversial video. Now, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about my personal unwatchable YouTubers. And I know this was a trend last year, I believe, but I saw one of my favorite YouTubers named AsToldByKenya film this kind of video. And honestly, she is like one of the smartest, funniest people on this platform. And I really recommend that you check out her videos because she makes a lot of great points. And she is definitely an underrated YouTuber, so I will link her down below. But about a week or so ago, she posted this type of video where she talked about her unwatchable YouTubers, and it really got me thinking about the YouTubers I can't stand to watch, so that is what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, this video is going to be in the same style as my unpopular opinions videos, and if you haven't seen those, I will link them down below. Now, just like in my unpopular opinions videos, you don't have to agree with me. That's completely fine, just as long as you're respectful and we can have a conversation, that's all that matters. And as I always say, that's why opinions aren't facts, because they're just opinions. And on that note, I think it's time to get into today's video. So the first YouTuber, or I guess group of YouTubers that are unwatchable to me, are most bigger YouTubers. In fact, not only are most of the bigger YouTubers unwatchable, but most of them are very overrated as well. And I'm talking about people like Tana Mojo, Jeffree Star, Jake Paul, James Charles, Logan Paul, Shane Dawson, literally any of those kind of people. But honestly, the two things that bother me about these bigger YouTubers is that they're not genuine and they don't really put an effort into their videos. And that's the main reason why I stick to watching smaller to medium-sized creators. I find that I enjoy watching smaller YouTubers a lot more because number one, they're creative. Number two, they actually put effort into their videos. And three, they seem like very genuine people. And one of my favorite characteristics that I like to look for in a new YouTuber I'm watching is if I feel like I could be friends with them in real life. And I feel like mainly with smaller to medium-sized creators, I feel like I can be friends with a lot of them in real life, at least the ones I watch. I really can't find that trait in most bigger YouTubers because a lot of them are very fake, money hungry, and will do anything for clout. Since most bigger YouTubers possess those traits, I find that I can't watch them without getting bored or upset because I don't like the fact that they can get away with mediocrity. Most of these bigger YouTubers don't even put effort into their content anymore because they figure they could just post a video, and since they have a lot of money and power, their fans will eat it up regardless of how good the video is. And overall, I just can't respect people who aren't genuine and fake and don't put effort into the thing they're supposedly passionate about. But anyway, moving on. So the next group of YouTubers that I find completely unwatchable are like the white girl, Emma Chamberlain copycat subsection of YouTube. Listen, regardless of how you feel about Emma Chamberlain, she has had the biggest impact on YouTube these past couple of years, especially on the younger crowd. Even if you've only watched one or two of Emma's videos, you know her style of video, like with the zooms, the Ken Burns, the distorted faces, the distorted voices, the self-deprecating humor, the filters. You know exactly what I'm talking about. For me personally, I tend to call it like the crackhead editing style. And while she didn't edit the white girl crackhead style of editing, she definitely made it popular, and now everyone edits their videos like that. And there are a lot of creators on YouTube who are taking elements of her editing, maybe not the whole editing style, but they're definitely doing certain things differently because they know that style of editing is trendy right now and a lot of people find it funny. But on the other hand, there are also a lot of YouTubers who completely copy that style of editing and make it their entire personality and base their entire channel off of that. And honestly, I'm kind of a hypocrite as well. Like, if you've seen some of my videos, you know I love a good zoom or two. You know I do a couple distorted voices here and there. And honestly, Ken Burns is the only man who's never disappointed me. So honestly, I'm kind of calling myself out here, but you know what? We're gonna not talk about that. But what I find unwatchable about this is when YouTubers take the style of editing and use it in every single clip, in every single part of their video. But it's like, can you come up with something else? Like, is there anything else there that you can do?
Can you come up with something else? Can you come up with something else?
Like every once in a while in a video, it's funny, and if a YouTuber does it right, then I enjoy it. But after a while, I just get a headache and I can't even finish watching the video because that style of editing gets so overwhelming so quickly. And it's become so overdone that it's not even that funny or creative or original anymore. And whenever I come across a YouTuber who I've never seen before and they make this style of video, I always wonder, Are you actually funny, or are you just really good at iMovie? And I hate to mention this person because I genuinely do enjoy her as a person, but the one YouTuber who comes to my mind when I talk about this topic is Antonio Garza. And listen, before all of you Antonio stans come for me, come for my wig, come for my gig, I genuinely do like Antonio, and I do think she is a very nice person. I think she is someone who came to YouTube fame very quickly, and she just doesn't know what to do with it yet. But with Antonio specifically, I find that she has dug herself into this hole where she has to make this editing style her entire personality, and I feel like we don't really see who she is anymore. And just from an editing standpoint, because I edit my own YouTube videos, it's okay to use editing to add to the humor every once in a while, but you shouldn't let that be the punchline of the joke every single time because it gets very old. And I hope that Antonio Garza and other YouTubers who I would consider in this category realize that there is nothing wrong with showing your personality, with showing who you really are, and that it's not okay to just rely on your editing all the time because after a while it does get old. But also, to be completely blunt, y'all better come up with something else, cause I'm bored. Also, I really hope that Ken Burns is getting his cut of the check for helping all of us out in our YouTube videos. In fact, as soon as I actually start making money on YouTube, I am personally sending Ken Burns a big fat check to thank him for his impact on my channel.
She is the mother I never had. She is the sister everybody would want.
So the next category of YouTubers that I find to be very unwatchable, and I find this style goes hand in hand with the crackhead editing style, and that is that I find most vloggers to be very unwatchable. I don't know if it's just me, but I find someone vlogging their life extremely uninteresting. In fact, I think it's one of the most low effort, uncreative styles of video, and it's just like, all you have to do is film your life, and that's it. Like, don't get me wrong, I can see the appeal in it. I can see why people enjoy that because it gives you a chance to, like, get to know the creator a little bit more. But personally, I find the videos kind of boring to watch and boring to make. That's why I really haven't filmed many vloggy style of videos in a while, or really in general on my channel. And as I said, I find that vlogging and that crackhead style of editing tend to go hand in hand because I find that's the #1 way people try to spice up their vlogs is by over-editing them and trying to make them funny when in reality they probably aren't without all the editing. So yeah, I can see the appeal, but like it's just not for me, and that's okay. Not everything has to be made for me on YouTube, and if you find vlogging interesting, then you know what? Good on you. Now, along with just normal vloggers, I find family channel vloggers to be extremely unwatchable. But you know, I'll admit, you know, back when I was in high school, I used to watch the Shaytards every now and then, back before Shay cheated on his wife and all that shit went down and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I used to watch the Shaytards back when I was like 14, 15 years old because I thought that stuff was interesting. But now that I'm a little bit older and I know a little bit more than when I was 14, 15 years old, I can see right through all of those family channels, and I can see them for the bullshit that they are. The idea of grown adults filming their young children for money and views, that's just so disgusting and unappealing to me. You know, these family channels would be different if the child was a lot older and they consented to being on camera 24/7, but for the most part, all these kids are like under 10 years old and probably have no say in if they want to be on YouTube or not. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a private person, but I don't like the idea of someone putting their entire family's business out on the internet for everyone on YouTube to judge, whether it's good or bad. Specifically, the two family channels that come to mind when I think of horrible family vloggers are the LeBrants and the Ace family. And with the LeBrants specifically, I remember around April Fool's Day, they had that scandal where they tricked their daughter, who was 5 years old by the way, into thinking that they were getting rid of their family dog. And you know, if that was me and my parents told me that they were getting rid of our cats, I would be devastated. But for a 5-year-old, that's even worse, because she doesn't have the emotional maturity that someone my age would have. Not that I'm, like, the most mature person, but, like, I have more of a grip on my emotions, I would say, and I understand them a lot more than when I was 5 years old. And I would imagine that when your parents tell you that they're getting rid of their dog at 5 years old, I feel like that would be very traumatizing for a child. And after the LeBrant parents tell their daughter that they're getting rid of their dog, naturally, she starts crying as a 5-year-old would. And, you know, as opposed to being normal parents and comforting their daughter, telling her it's just a joke, or just not doing the prank at all, they continue filming her for the entire internet to see. And just seeing stuff like that from family channels makes me realize that they care more about the money that they'll be getting from the video as opposed to their child's emotional well-being, and that does not sit well with me. And the other family channel that I mentioned in this video is the Ace family, and honestly, they're a whole other topic that I want to address in another video, but overall, I find them to be a bunch of shady ladies. Like, between lying about donating to charity and, what's his name, Austin giving a little girl a dick lollipop, I think it's safe to say that they're trash. Overall, I just find the Ace family extremely unwatchable, but another weird thing I found out about them is their merch. Now, for the most part, they sell pretty normal, average merch, like hoodies, hats, pop sockets, you know, the normal overpriced stuff that all YouTubers sell. But if you take a deeper look into their merch website, you would see that they sell posters of their 3-year-old daughter. Because that's a good idea. Like, way to pimp out your daughter, right? And another YouTuber that I've noticed who started to do this, and this has made me start to not like her that much, is Colleen Ballinger. And, like, I get it. Like, she is a nice person. She's very talented. I think what she does is great. And I get that she's an excited mother, but I find it weird that she tries to shove her baby in every single one of her videos. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of putting kids in front of the camera. I just don't think that's the smartest move. And I know for a fact that if I'm still doing YouTube by the time I have kids, or if I decide to have kids, I just know for a fact that I'm not going to put them in front of the camera because that's, like, kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe that's why I only have 1,700 subscribers while the Ace family has, like, 10 million. I don't care. You know what? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I should have a kid for clout. You know, maybe I should get another bigger YouTuber who has a lot of money and fake an entire relationship, maybe even a wedding. So another category of YouTube that I find completely unwatchable are couples channels, specifically couples prank channels, because when will people realize that being in a relationship is not a personality? And the main reason why I don't bother watching couple channels or find them interesting is because I don't care. Overall, I just find couples channels to be very similar to family vlogging channels in the sense that they're just using their relationship and exploiting it for views and money. And honestly, I can't respect people who do that. And I'm just talking about couples vlogging together. I think couples pranks are even worse. I swear to God, every couples prank channel looks the same. They all have the same thumbnails, the same random and weird situations, the same horrible acting. And you just know all of it is fake. I just can't imagine being happy in a relationship where you're pulling cheating pranks or arguing pranks on each other several times a month. It just doesn't seem like a healthy environment for anyone. Also, no one likes a public breakup. Keep that shit to yourselves. It's not fair for the couple. It's not fair for the fans who are invested in the relationship. It's just not fair all around, so keep that shit private. So if there are any couples watching me and you're considering starting a channel together, don't. Get a new hobby. Find something else to do. Try knitting, basket weaving, bird watching, soap making. I heard that's fun. So something else I find extremely unwatchable on YouTube is mukbang channels. Personally, I've never understood the appeal of watching a mukbang, and I'm gonna sound very hypocritical again because I've made several mukbangs in the past. I think I've made 3 mukbang videos in the past, but the reason why I've made them is because they're so easy to make. And honestly, that's why a lot of people make them, because they almost require no effort. Because all you gotta do is buy a bunch of food, sit down, turn on the camera, and just talk and eat. That's really all there is to it. It's really not that deep. And listen, I'm not trying to discredit anyone or trying to put anyone down because YouTube isn't an easy thing to do. And as someone who does YouTube semi-regularly, this whole thing is not easy. There's a lot of planning and filming and editing and a bunch of stuff behind the scenes that goes into it, that goes into making something like this. And I think the stress is only worse for someone who does this full time, because I know I get stressed out about this and I only do this part-time as a hobby. But for the full-time YouTubers, I'm sure it's not easy either. But there are some videos on the internet that are easier to make than others, and mukbangs are one of them. And the one person who comes to mind when I think of mukbangs is obviously Trisha Paytas. I know she doesn't just do mukbangs, but I guess she is considered the queen of mukbangs on YouTube. And the thing about Trisha, for me, that makes her unwatchable is because of the fact that she puts almost no effort into any of her videos. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, I don't respect people who don't put effort into the things that they're supposedly passionate about. But another thing about mukbang channels, and this isn't me trying to be offensive or making fun of anyone, but the amount of food that is eaten at once is just kind of gross to me. Now listen, don't get me wrong, I love a good meal or two, but just like the amount of food that's in the thumbnails and in the videos, it just seems like a very gross amount of food and an unnecessary amount of food, and I don't really find enjoyment out of watching someone stuff their face with that much food.
So for some reason I lost all the footage for this last part, but basically I said that eating a lot of fast food in a short period of time makes me sick, and watching other people do that is not appetizing to me. That's why I don't watch mukbangs. Okay, on to the next topic.
So I haven't name dropped too much in this video. I mean, I've mentioned some YouTubers in the general topics I talked about, but this next one, I'm going to be talking about two specific YouTubers. These two YouTubers that I find completely unwatchable are the Dolan twins.
Disgusting! What the fuck?
Don't hate me. I don't know what it is, but I don't find anything that they do interesting. And I know that's very harsh to say, especially since they seem like very nice people and they're generally unproblematic, so I do feel really bad saying this. But it just seems like they don't have a lot of personality, and personally, I don't find them very engaging on camera, or maybe our personalities just don't click. That could also be the thing. I don't have to like every YouTuber that's on the platform. I just find their content very dry, but not like in like an interesting or funny way, like just like boring, dry. And I get it, a lot of people like them because they are attractive, and I'll admit they're pretty cute guys, but I need more than a pretty face to have me stick around and watch someone. Because, you know, our time on this earth is limited, and I can't spend that time watching people I don't like or find interesting. And you know what the real tea on the Dolan twins is? I guarantee you, if the Dolan twins weren't conventionally attractive, most of their fans wouldn't give them the time of day. And I said what I said. So for this next group of unwatchable YouTubers that I have, I don't really know what I would call them, but I guess they would be like Vine star turned shitty Instagram comedian turned mediocre YouTubers. You could even call them the comedy vacuums of the internet. The influencers that I would put into this category are people like Lele Pons, Brett Rivera, Hannah Stocking, Twan, King Batch, but from the few posts and videos I've seen of theirs, because I actively try to avoid them, I've realized that comedy isn't for everyone, and that's okay. I tried watching some of Brett Rivera's Instagram comedy videos, and after I watched like 2 or 3 of them, I was more upset than anything because I realized I wasted like 4.5 minutes scrolling through his page.
Brett Rivera makes me upset.
Maybe it's because that surface level, relatable humor that they beat like a dead horse is just not appealing to me, or maybe I'm not the demographic they're aiming for. Then again, I don't know what group of people would really find them funny. It's like, y'all couldn't be funny in the 6 seconds they give you on Vine. So now, you have to torture the internet for the rest of eternity by making 1-minute shitty comedy videos on Instagram, and now 5 to 10 minute videos on YouTube. What do we do to deserve that? I really don't know. I can't think of anything I've done in my life where I deserve to have Lele Pons and Hannah Stocking show up on my Explore page. So the next group of YouTubers that I find very unwatchable are those YouTuber cliques, if you will. And in general, the idea of cliques make me feel very uncomfortable, especially because of the fact that I didn't have a solid group of friends growing up. But the people who come to mind when I think of YouTuber cliques are people like Team 10, the Cloud House, FaZe Gang, the thing that Rice Gum who is involved in. I don't really care about him, couldn't give a shit. Shane Dawson and his squad, even the Vlog squad to a certain degree, even though I really like David Dobrik. But basically, I find that the friends in these cliques tend to piggyback off the fame of their more successful friend by making their own subpar YouTube channels in order to get some of that clout too. But these coattail riders, you could tell they're not really passionate about what they're doing. You know they're just only doing it for the money because they absolutely bring nothing new to the table. Don't get me wrong, I do like seeing YouTubers get along, and I think there are some genuine friendships on YouTube. However, I feel like if you're still in a clique and you're a grown adult in your mid-20s, you need to go back to middle school because you have some stuff to figure out. And now last but not least, the YouTubers that I find completely unwatchable, and you will probably never change my mind on this, is the beauty community. Now, I know a lot has been said about the beauty community on YouTube, whether it's been on my channel or the several other drama channels on the internet, but I think we know how we feel about the beauty community in this house. I actually made a video on a similar topic a couple months back called "The Beauty Community is in Time Out," and I still stand by this. As you can tell, I have a lot of very strong opinions on YouTube nowadays, and if you agree with me on anything, let me know down below. If you have any unwatchable YouTubers of your own, definitely let me know down below. I would love to hear your input. And just remember, these are my opinions. You don't have to agree. If you like this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time with a brand new video. I love you. Bye. Woo!